I'm going to call this June 2014 meeting of Lenoir County Board of Education to order. I recognize Ms. Lynch for the invocation.
Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interest of our young people. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item is the approval of the agenda. Move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Filippelli, second by Mr. Stroud. All in favor of approving the agenda, raise your right hand. The agenda for tonight is approved. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the May 5th, 2014 meeting.
Motion to approve as read.
Motion made by Mr. Braxton,
Second.
second by Mr. Stroud. All in favor of approving the minutes, raise your right hand. The minutes are approved. Next item is the board chair comments. Well, graduation is now 12 days away. And I want to say congratulations to the class of 2014. This is especially special for me, having a graduate this year. So you're going to have to listen to me talk for just a minute about this. But it's really an exciting time. You know, 13 years ago when I watched my daughter walk off to kindergarten, you know, June of 2014 seemed like it was a lifetime. And it goes really fast. But as her experience has come to a close, I've had a lot of thoughts about her experience at Lenoir County Public Schools. And there is something I want to share with you about that. I mean, I do believe that parents have choices in where they send their kids to school. And there's a lot of options out there that didn't even exist when I was in school. 13 years ago, we had to make a decision about where we were going to send our daughter to school. And people here in Kinston told us then that we couldn't send her to the public schools. They told us that she wouldn't get a good education. They told us that she wouldn't be safe in our public schools. You know, and that really upset us because both my wife and I are graduates of Lenoir County Public Schools. And that's where we wanted her to go. So as we were looking at the options that were out there, we made a decision to call our local elementary school and to take the tour. Just go out and see what it was like. And the first person we met there was Miss Diane Lynch, our principal. And as we toured the school, we found out that things were very different than what we had been told. We knew most of the teachers there. We had a great principal there. And it took about an hour before we knew that this is where we should be to start school. And now finally coming up to today, I mean, I can tell you today, I know we made the right decision. My daughter's received an excellent education. She was challenged academically, which is something we were worried about. She's had excellent teachers who really did great things for her. She was safe. We didn't have any problems. And now as she graduates, she's going to the college that was her first choice, and she's ready to take that next step. Now, one other thing that I didn't realize was going to happen, that has happened, is that she has really benefited from the diversity of our schools. And I think that's something we discount, but it's been the subject of a lot of our public meetings lately. She's made friends with kids from all walks of life, people from all backgrounds, people she would have never met in a private school. She has an understanding of the problems that face our community because in the public schools, she's part of our community and she's seen it. The diversity has really helped her grow to the person she is today, and she's better for it. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Lenore County Public Schools for everything they've done. And many of them are right here. Miss Lynch was our elementary school principal. Mr. Brent Williams was our middle school principal. Ms. Bryant was our high school principal, gone now, but Mr. Corey is finishing the job out there. I want to thank all the teachers that have given so much to the class of 2014. So as a parent of a graduate, thank you for all that y'all have done. Dr. Mazinga.
I really have to follow that. Okay, I would like the following students to come up. Garrett Harper, Caitlin Moore, Sarah Potter, Alex Rogers, and Nate Smith, along with their teacher. The students that you see in front of you are the South Lenore Land Judging Team, and they have just returned from Oklahoma City. And they have brought back a very prestigious 7th place in the nation out of 100 teams. Garrett Harper, would you raise your hand, please? He was 11th in scoring out of 200 FFA participants. So congratulations to Garrett and the entire land judging team. By the way, their teacher did a pretty good job. All right. I promised a picture. Have you gotten?
I think if we could have them step around in front of this table, that'd be great.
Mr. Holmes has been trying to get a picture of this group for about a month. And so he made me swear that he would get the opportunity to do this. Thank you again for a job well done for your school and for Lenore County Public Schools.
I'd like to thank the board, you, Mrs. Lynch, our principal, Mr. Sandeman, and our CTE director, Ms. Kelly Jarman. This is probably the 19th or 20th time I've carried a group out to Oklahoma City. I've never been turned down by the board. Everybody's always been very supportive, and I appreciate this. You could not have found 5 young people that were better representatives for our school system. They were good. I told the parents last week, when you put 5 teenagers in a car for 18 hours and say, we're going to drive for 18 hours before we stop, and they don't complain, you got a good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Justin Ward, who will graduate from North Lenore High School as an honor student on June 14th, received a diploma Sunday as a graduate of the online program of the North Carolina School of Math and Science. Justin was the school's only 2014 graduate, either in the online or residential program, from Lenore County. At North Lenore, Justin was recognized as a North Carolina Academic Scholar. He plans to attend UNC Chapel Hill and study biology. He's the son of Jim and Valerie Ward. Congratulations to Justin for also graduating from the School of Math and Science at the same time he's graduating from North Lenore. Okay, that was a pleasant part of my job tonight. The next part is reporting the effects of the Senate budget on Lenore County Public Schools, and this is not so much fun. For teacher position allotments, the ratio increased by 1 on 2nd and 3rd grade. That decreases our position allotments by 5.5 teachers. Reduction in teacher assistant funds amounts to $1,499,418. This reduces our teacher assistants by 30, plus the 8 teaching positions we also pay out of this allotment. We'll get a 5% reduction in central office funds. That equals $43,680. a 6% reduction in transportation funds, which equals $140,345. Altogether, we're looking at a decrease of funding if the Senate budget is adopted of $1,936,445. Total teachers cuts would be 13.5 and 30 TA positions, plus the central office and transportation decreases. We're a Tier 1 county, so we get a buy on cutting nurses. We will be able to retain our nurses, but our driver's ed allotment will be eliminated in 2015-16. What that means for parents is you will now have to pay the cost in 2015-16 for your child getting driver's ed, and that cost is $198 per student. Obviously, this is devastating for the school district. While I certainly, and I know the board does, as we all do, applaud teacher raises, it needs to be taken from funds other than those that we're already using for children. These kind of cuts would be devastating, and certainly we don't see that it's necessary to be able to accomplish a good raise for teachers. I hope that those of you who have access or will gain access to your legislators will let them know how important it is for the House to reconsider what the Senate has passed in terms of the budget for next year. Okay, said what I had to say. Now go do what you need to do. School System Improvement Task Force, its next meeting will be Tuesday, June 10th in the central office boardroom here. And our last day of students for the 2013-14 school year is Thursday, June the 12th. The last day for teachers is June 17th. Graduations. Lenore County Learning Academy is Thursday, June the 12th at 9:30 a.m. South Lenore High School will be Saturday, June 14th at 10 a.m. Kinston High School will be Saturday, June 14th at 2 p.m. And North Lenore High School will be Saturday, June 14th at 6 p.m. Certainly hope that you can attend as many of those as you can. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Mazinga. The next item is public comments. I understand no one has signed up for the open session. Next item would be presentation agenda, the financial report. Ms. Davis.
Good evening. The financial report reflects year-to-date activity by providing revenue and expenditure information as to all the sources of funds received and expended by fund and purpose as of May 31st, 2014. May I answer any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Davis this evening? All right. Thank you, Ms. Davis. We'll move to the action portion of our agenda. The first item is our appointment to the Lenore Community College Board of Trustees.
Dr. Briley has notified us that the appointment is up as of June 30th, 2014, so we need a nomination for a member to take that spot.
Dr. Mazingo, I move that we reappoint Herman Caraway, our recent, our appointee that is serving on the school board right now to the LCC board.
Second.
Motion's been made by Mr. Nobles, second by Mr. Smith. Is there any discussion on the motion? All the information I have is that he is doing a good job on that board.
Dr. Briley
And would like to be reappointed.
Dr. Briley has indicated such that he's done a good job.
Any further discussion? All in favor of appointing Herman Caraway to the Lenore Community College Board of Trustees, raise your right hand. He is appointed. Next item is the Exceptional Children Reorganization. Ms. Roberts. Ms. Roach.
Good evening. Carryover funds from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, otherwise known as ARA, are no longer available to sustain the current salaries and positions in the Exceptional Children's Department. Our finance officer was consulted and has verified the reduction of funding. Mrs. Roach and Mrs. Hill carefully reviewed and considered many options to reorganize Exceptional Children's Department in an effort to minimize impact on employees. Their reorganization plan assures that all services will continue to be delivered to all EC students and will remain in compliance with North Carolina law. Ms. Roach will now discuss the reorganization plan with you.
Good evening. It is with much sadness and regret on my part that Julie Hill, Assistant EC Director, and myself have to recommend some reductions in the Exceptional Children's Program due to the depletion of funds through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, better known as ARA. The total projected reduction in positions and months of employment is $276,197. This projected amount has been confirmed by Lisa Davis, Finance Director. In an effort to minimize the impact on employees, we have been able to transfer employee salaries to other budget codes, as well as cutting supplies and materials and contracted services. It will be difficult to continue to sustain the psychology program, but we believe we can continue to fulfill our required duties for psychologists by eliminating 2 positions, leaving 3 remaining positions for the district. We will need to maintain one of these remaining positions for 12 months to help in evaluating preschool students during the summer months and to conduct any other needed evaluations for school-age students. The other remaining position will be moved to 10 months in order to further reduce costs. We requested assistance from the Department of Public Instruction to review caseloads for occupational therapists, speech therapists, and physical therapist positions. Upon review, it was recommended by the Department of Public Instruction that 1.0 full-time equivalent is sufficient to provide OT services for Lenore County Public Schools. Therefore, we are recommending the elimination of one of our 2 occupational therapist positions. We have 4 Exceptional Children's Program Compliance Specialists. We are recommending a reduction in months of employment for 3 Exceptional Children's Program Compliance Specialists so that all 4 will now be 11 months. We are recommending eliminating a vacant Exceptional Children Teacher Assistant position due to the relocation of several special education students. We are also recommending the elimination of 1 office support position. It has been determined that duties can be reassigned to other staff members. We will retain 1.5 office support position. Do you have any questions?
So actually, if you've noticed, you have a memo in your documentation from Dr. Mazingo dated May 29th concerning the reduction of months of employment and positions due to budget reductions in the EC department. So based on the anticipated budget reductions, we are recommending to eliminate 2 psychologist positions, eliminate 1 occupational therapist position, reduce 2 psychologist positions to 10 months. There's one that's 12 months, one that's 11 months. Reduce 3 exceptional children compliance positions from 12 months to 11 months. Eliminate 1 exceptional children teacher assistant position and to eliminate 1 office support position. That's the recommendation.
How many psychologist positions do we currently have?
We have 5 currently.
And how many OT positions?
2 positions we're asking to eliminate.
So there's 2, we'll then
We'll
make
have 3 left.
3 left, okay.
It seemed like the actual decrease in funding was more than twice what we're actually cutting here, but we've actually transferred funds in from other areas to try to cover this.
Yes.
There was nothing fun about this work. I do want to say how much I appreciate both our director and our assistant director spending the time they needed to look at this program and make these reductions so that all services for children could continue. I am confident they have done that, and I certainly recommend this reduction in force plan to you as a board.
Is this something we were expecting a little bit, this funding to go away like it has?
We have known for a
You
while
know, for
that
some
we were
time.
going to do this, yeah. That at some point we had to make some adjustments.
Do we
I'm sorry.
Do we have a motion to approve the Exceptional Children Reorganization Plan?
Did you have a question
Or
first?
do you have a?
Yeah, I would, are the kids gonna suffer any from, how do you predict that as far as the kids, I'm worried about, will the kids still get the training or the
Related services?
services that they need?
Yes,
to be
sir.
successful?
We were very careful when we were looking at reductions. And if you notice, most of these reductions are more on the administrative side rather than impacting children and services at the school. That one teacher assistant position did not impact a school because the kids moved, or the kids are moving to another school. So we were able to, it was a vacant position, so we really didn't cut a person.
Is it my understanding that this is something you have been looking at for a couple of years anyway?
Yes.
Something that needed to be addressed?
Yes, it's something that I even talked with the former director about. We've known this was coming for a while, and there was some reorganization done a year or so ago, if you remember, but we still had cuts that needed to be made, and so that's what you're seeing now.
And if I could just interject too briefly, the process that you all use for reduction in force is one where you look to whether or not there needs to be a reorganization and reduction in positions, and that's considered first. And then at another time, the board will look to whether or not there are recommendations in terms of personnel specifically that may come as a result. Some of these positions may be vacant. There are positions that are not going to impact personnel, some are not. So that decision will come at a later date, at another time. So this is just looking at the positions themselves.
Move to accept the recommendation that's put forward.
Second it.
Motion's been made by Mr. Braxton, second by Mr. Stroud.
One quick question, so we don't really have a whole lot of choice, do we?
No. I would like to tell you we did have a choice, but they have really done the best that they possibly could.
Any discussion about the specific motion? And we will call it for a vote. All in favor of the Exceptional Children Reorganization Plan as presented, raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. The next item is the board minutes format. Dr. Mazingo or Ms. Waller?
I'm going to talk about it a little bit, then I'll probably turn it over to Ms. Waller to talk about. Basically, this is kind of a process of modernizing how we provide information to the public concerning our meetings in the way of minutes. It's a little bit foolish, I think, for us to try to script a meeting when we're videotaping it at the same time. So our plans are to change the format of our minutes and make the video available to the public. And I believe that we can even index the video so that people can just see the particular presentations that they would like to see, and then provide a more streamlined version of the minutes. But doing this really should provide the public more access to what happens here in the meetings rather than less. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Waller and this recommendation, this idea really came from our attorney.
Well, and it also came from discussions with Becky, because as we've moved toward a paperless board, we've talked a little bit about the minutes and how the minutes are maintained. So what the memo that you have with in your packet, what we outline is some of the basic requirements of the public meetings law. Essentially, the minutes that are currently kept are more detailed than what the statute requires. Some boards have more specific policies about things that you want to capture in your minutes. Your policy simply states that you will comply with the state statute, and so there isn't any further guidance in your local policy. So discussions about any particular action, information items, a lot of detail is not required. What's really required for your minutes are who was present, what the votes were on various motions, who made the motion, who seconded them, and it's a little bit more basic. A lot of boards, including yourself, have moved to keeping audio or video recordings. As a matter of ease, if you want those to be your official minutes, you certainly could do that. You would need to then post them on your website like your minutes currently are and have them available in your central office so that if anybody wanted to view them, they could have access to them. You are required, the one caution I would have is you're required to keep a backup of that. So there's a possibility that there could be something that goes wrong one night where it doesn't work, or if the tape is destroyed, then you need to have a backup because those need to be available for a very long period of time. They're permanent records of the board. So you want to make sure you have an outside backup source. And we recommend that in the event that there's a malfunction of equipment, that you still keep a more streamlined paper minutes that meet with the statute. So you've got in your packet too, we've got the regular minutes that Becky had prepared for you all for our February meeting, and then I've prepared sort of a sample minute of what would comply with the statute, which is a little bit more streamlined, as I said. The other thing that you can think about, and this we don't really have an opinion one way or the other, but there is no requirement in the statute that the boards review and adopt minutes. So that can be something that can be taken out of your minutes. We can certainly talk about that, whether you want to do that in terms of regular or closed session. We don't recommend going to video minutes of closed session. I think that could be cumbersome unless it's a special meeting like a student disciplinary matter or a hearing, employment hearing, but otherwise we would say probably stay to the paper minutes for that. So that's probably about it unless you have any questions. Just trying to think of ways that may streamline the process for you a little bit and make information more available to the public.
Just so it's clear, it is our intent to post the video. Board Docs has the capacity of allowing us to do that, so it's right there where it's accessible to the public. And I think we have talked with our technical folks about moving and being able to do that. And so again, we're not trying to provide the public less information at all. In fact, this should be, right now, in order to see the video board meeting, you have to have access to the education channel. That would eliminate that need to see it on the educational channel, although it'll still be there. We'll have it posted where anyone can get to it.
You said the board meeting itself or the minutes?
Board meeting. Mm-hmm. And along with a streamlined version a written version of the streamlined minutes will be available.
Because currently they can go online and actually look at the meeting, right? From the website. So they've actually been doing
on the website it is?
Yeah.
Okay. But we can actually attach it to the board docs.
Okay.
Or put a link in here to board docs, which is where you would. So it'll be available wherever people want to be at.
And the streamlined minutes would still provide all of the action, so I think that would be for everybody's convenience, your convenience, convenience of the public, but if you wanted to actually hear the discussion that was had or a particular presentation, you could go back to the official minutes, which would be the video if you all decide to go that direction.
Motion made to board minute, audio video recording, the official minutes with supplement written minutes that just record actions taken.
Motion made by Mr. Hill. Does that meet with what you suggest?
It does, yes.
I read it right off.
All right.
I didn't write my last time.
Is there a second to Mr. Hill's motion?
Second.
Second made by Mr. Nobles. Any discussion about the motion?
So will this obviate the need for us to have to approve the minutes every month?
It would, yes. You do not need to approve the minutes
Well, I'm in
every
favor
month.
of that.
Yeah. I would recommend you still approve the closed session minutes because those will be written and you won't have a video of that. But a regular session, you do not need to keep that. You may want to keep it as an information item if you like, but you don't need to go through that.
So if somebody has a change to the minutes, then they can just simply inform form, Becky and Joel? What do you do if there's a dispute as to?
If there's a dispute, I think you would go back to the video to
Okay.
reconcile what actually happened.
Fair enough. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. The motion passes unanimously. So from this point on, we will no longer approve the minutes. And we will post the videos, starting with this meeting, I think. Will that start with this meeting then?
Yes.
Okay. Next item on our action agenda is Dr. Mazingo, the board meeting dates for the next year.
As you know, we normally approve our meeting dates a year in advance. Normally do this in June. The meeting dates are listed on the document that you have. Normally, we try to meet the first Monday night. There are a couple of exceptions to that, and those reasons are noted on your board meeting dates information. Would ask that you approve these or suggest alternate dates to those that we have recommended.
Move we approve the proposed board meeting dates for 2014-2015.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Filippelli, second by Mr. Hill. Is there any further discussion on the board meeting dates? All in favor, raise your right hand. The board meeting dates are approved unanimously. Next item is Ms. Ball and the driver's education services contract for next year.
Good evening. In your board packet, you received a renewal contract with Jordan's Driving School of the Carolinas to provide driver education services to Lenoir County Public School students. The contract is a one-year contract with Jordan's Driving School. In the proposed contract, there is one change from last year's contract. In item number 18, the rate of payment per student increased for the 2014-15 school year due to the higher expenses such as gas prices, vehicle upkeep. The behind-the-wheel instruction did increase by $9 per student. The total payment per student will be $198. Lenoir County has been very pleased with the services that have been provided by Jordan's Driving School of the Carolinas. I am requesting that you renew the Jordan's Driving School of the Carolinas contract with the changes for the 2014-15 school year. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
So if the budget, the Senate budget in this form it is now passes, we're saying that the parents will be responsible for that $198.
Yes, sir. And that would start the 2015-16 school year.
Right. Next year would remain the same for the period of this contract, but if this budget passes and stays in place, 2015-16, they would be required to pay that.
Is that going to be just for Lenoir County, or is it across the state?
Across the state.
Statewide.
I heard from another school system, and theirs is $260 per student, so it just depends on what they're spending per student for driver's education. We hope none of us would like to see that happen.
Motion to approve the driver's education services contract for 2014-2015.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. Stroud. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor of approving the driver's education services contract for next year, raise your right hand. The contract is approved. Next item is Mr. Williams and some surplus property.
Good evening. As you saw in your packet, Whittington Middle School has 315 metal chairs. These chairs are old, rusted, pitted with rust, and many of them are broken and in various states of disrepair. They have purchased new chairs. They use these chairs for parent assemblies and programs at school. and other events. Tonight, we are asking on behalf of Woodington Middle School and the administration there for your approval in having those chairs declared surplus, and they would like to recycle the chairs and use any benefits from that recycling, any funds generated by doing so, to help offset the cost of the new chairs.
Motion to approve the list of surplus property for disposal.
Motion made by Mr. Hill.
Second.
Go to second by Mr. Smith. Any further discussion about the surplus property? All in favor, raise your right hand. The surplus property sale is approved.
On behalf of Woodington, we thank you.
Next item is Ms. Diane Lynch and the out-of-state school trips.
We do have 2 out-of-state requests. The first one is from the early college in July. They would like to have their yearbook club attend a workshop in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And then Rochelle is requesting that their 7th and 8th grade fine arts students go to New York in April of 2015. And the reason they're asking so early is that they need time to plan and do some fundraising. So this will be a trip next spring for them.
Move we approve the out-of-state field trips.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Filippelli, second by Mr. Hill. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the out-of-school trips, raise your right hand. The trips are approved. Next item is a motion to go into closed session.
I move that the Lenore County Board of Education go to closed session under Lenore County General Statute 143-31811 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel files, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, and to consider matters relating to initial employment of an individual employee.
Motion made by Mr. Hill, go into closed session. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nobles. All in favor of going into closed session, raise your right hand. We are now in closed session. All right, we are now back in open session. Next item is the personnel report with the addendum.
Motion to approve the personnel report and addendum as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. Stroud. All in favor of approving the personnel report with the addendum, raise your right hand. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Dr. Mazinga?
Okay. Is there any comment?
Is there any comments?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. Just want you to know that the community, that we heard your concerns with the one of the personnel issues up here with the community, and wasn't easy, but it's something that we did and we thought was in the best interest of the district. But we did hear your concerns and we appreciate them, and I must say that this wasn't an easy one. So.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce our newest administrators and some in their new positions. I'll start with Kinston High School. Ms. Tina Letchworth has expressed an interest, and and she has just been approved as the new principal for Kinston High School. She'll be moving there from Frank. Congratulations, Ms. Letchworth. Now, obviously that leaves a position open at Frank. At Frank, I recommended and the board just approved Mr. Brian Corey, who is now the interim principal at Kinston High School, to go to Frank as the new principal there. So congratulations, Mr. Corey. Ms. Susan Glover has requested to move back to a position where she was very happy, and that is the AP position at South Lenore High School. The board has just approved that also. So congratulations, Ms. Glover. Now that obviously leaves the position of principal open at Moss Hill. At Moss Hill, I recommended and the board just approved Miss Elizabeth Greer, who is currently the AP at Woodington, as the new principal for Moss Hill. Congratulations, Ms. Greer. At LaGrange, since Ms. Brennan is leaving to be with her husband, I recommended and the board just approved, after much discussion and consideration of this move for the good of the entire district, we have approved Ms. Keisha Dunn to become the new principal at LaGrange Elementary. Congratulations. That obviously leaves Northeast School vacant. In Northeast School, I have recommended Ms. Lorene Bell, who is currently the assistant principal at Rochelle. She comes to us with many, many years of quality teaching experience and the kind of personality and the kind of skills that will continue the great tradition and the work that Ms. Dunn has done. And we are very, very grateful to Ms. Dunn for the work she has done at Northeast. I think that Ms. Dunn and Ms. Bell are friends. And I have discussed this possibility with Ms. Dunn, and we all have confidence that Ms. Bell will continue to do the great things that Northeast has been doing for the past few years. So congratulations to Ms. Bell. We have one school left, Southwood School, where the principal is retiring. I'm asking someone to return there who was there as a teacher for about 4 years prior to her becoming an administrator in Craven County. So congratulations go to Michelle Hill as the new principal at Southwood Elementary. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Last matter is a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Nobles, second by Mr. Smith. All in favor, raise your right hand. We are now adjourned.